What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about college and a little bit of the Bachelor recap too. So college-wise, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I did not expect about college, which was something that you guys had requested that I did a video about. So I'm going to go through 5 things that I was not expecting when I came to college, and then we're going to wrap it up talking a little bit about the Bachelor week 2. So let me just preface this by saying that when I first came to college, I was expecting it to be just like the movies. Like, I don't really know what I really had anticipated it to be, but I didn't know what it was going to be. So now that I'm almost done with college, so for those of you who didn't know, I'm graduating college in 3 years. So I'm pretty young, but I am graduating in May. But that just means that I learned a lot in a short amount of time. So I'm going to share some of the things that I kind of gathered with you guys, because some of you guys are about to be starting college here coming up. And if you're already in college, these might be things too that you kind of like haven't noticed, or it still just might be interesting to hear somebody else's perspective on college, because we all have very different situations as we go into this odd stage of our lives. The very first thing that I was completely blown away by when I got to college was how much free time you actually have. Like, a nap in the middle of the day? Are you kidding me? This is incredible. It's just super important to use that time wisely if you do have a lot of free time, because you do get to pick your own classes, you get to pick the times that you go to school, so you kind of just have to decide what's going to be best for you. So a lot of people are morning people. They want to knock out all their classes, be done by noon, have the rest of the day to themselves. So they have all 8 a.m.s every day of the week and 8 a.m. Okay, so that could be one person, but someone else really loves to sleep in, and they're usually like out at night with their friends, or they go to a lot of parties, or whatever that case may be. They probably aren't going to want to do 8 a.m. classes, because that sounds a little bit miserable, so they would probably be more of the people that would start at 3:30 and do night classes. So it just depends on like your personal preference, and you might think that you're one way and then discover that you're another. So your freshman year, you'll just kind of be able to experiment with times and see kind of what kind of a person that you are when it comes to when you study best, when you focus best, when you're really going to get up, like in all actuality, when are you going to get up out of bed? That's one thing that you kind of have to learn about yourself, because there's nobody coming in to wake you up anymore, because school starts at 8:20 every day. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. So it's all about you, what you want, your preferences, which is a blessing and a curse, but I definitely think it was more of a blessing for me, because I am a person that definitely needs my free time. I don't like to have so much structure where I feel like I'm trapped and I have to do all these things all the time. So it was definitely a really good thing for me to kind of be able to have the freedom to do whatever I wanted. But you will have hours every day of no one telling you what to do, ever. So you can literally go do anything you want, and that is a really, really weird feeling, but it's also a really great feeling. The second one sounds super lame, so I hope you're ready for this, but never once, this is like kind of embarrassing, never once did I go to the library to study. Not one time in college, okay? Like, never. I went one time for a group project and I like met up with people, but like I never went to be like, I'm gonna go to study, like I need to get some studying done, I'm gonna go to the library. That never came out of my mouth. A lot of people that I know do go to the library. That's where they get their best work done. For me, I like to sit in my room by myself with no distractions, just doing my stuff at my desk, or even in my bed, honestly. Like, that's where I get most of my work done. So I never went out to go do those kinds of things. I think it would have been different if I had gone to school with people that I knew, or if I had like been better friends with a lot of people at my school that I knew that were going to be going to the library to go do things, because a lot of the times people do go study together. So if things had been a little bit different for me, I probably would have gone to the library to do some studying, but I never went. It was not like the movies and how they all go to the library to go study together. That was not my college experience. But again, that's just a personal preference. Like, wherever you get your best studying done, you'll figure that out really soon, because in high school you feel like, oh, I don't really even need to study, and then you get to college, you need to study, okay? You gotta get in the library, you gotta figure out what your best plan is and go for it, and don't stop. Just keep working on it. Switch up your environment every once in a while, but for the most part, just like know where you get your best work done, and don't let people persuade you to do something else. Like, if you're really focusing on your grades and trying to do well in school, and you know that you can't get anything done at the library, don't go hang out with your friends to study at the library the night before your final. Just not probably a very good idea. Number 3, nobody's going to remind you that you have homework or a quiz to take. That's a huge change, because at my school, my teachers were like, okay, remember, like, you have this quiz you have to take, like, you're gonna have to do this, and like, if you weren't at school, like, oh, well, we'll just like push it back a little bit. You take a few extra days to study. Like there's all that stuff. In college, they don't care. And it's not like a mean way, but like you just don't get extensions on deadlines really, unless you have a professor that's like super nice, which every once in a while they'll give you a deadline extension if there's like an emergency or you're sick or something. But like for the most part, like you just do your work when it says it's due, which is a little bit different than high school, but there's nobody reminding you about it, so you have to focus on being so organized and doing all that kind of stuff for yourself. So that's why my planner is really important to me. So I think I've showed it before. I have my Kate Spade planner that I use. It is like everything to me. I can't plan anything without checking the planner first. It is everything. So definitely make sure that you're organized. Some people prefer to do it as an Excel spreadsheet, and then they just fill out their classes, the due dates, the assignments, all that stuff. When a test opens, when a test closes, a lot of your tests will probably be online if you're anything like me. I think in college I've only had 2 classes where I had tests in class, but that doesn't mean that you are just gonna have like all access to the internet when you're taking these tests. First off, they're timed, so you don't really have time to look up every answer, and second off, they have lockdown browsers with webcams watching you, and if you cheat, you know what happens. But it is super important that you kind of stay on top of that kind of thing, and you make sure that the assignments, you're just like knocking them out, making sure you're actually doing them. Make sure you get all the stuff written down as soon as you get your syllabus in the beginning of the semester. And for those of you who don't know, a syllabus is like the thing that the instructor gives you before the semester starts that has like all the rules, all the ways to communicate with them, their office hours. Most of the time they'll put their assignment schedule on there too. Sometimes they do it as a separate document, but wherever the assignment schedule is, take it as soon as you get in the class, as soon as you have access to it, and write everything down, because you'll thank me later. This one kind of goes along with the whole nobody telling you what to do thing. Attendance policies. Your girl kind of had a hard time getting to school sometimes when I first started college because no one was telling me to come to school. If you knew me in high school, I didn't come to school very much. I was not really the school kind of girl, so I didn't do a whole lot of education. But then when I got to college and I was like, wait, I actually need to take this seriously. Like after a couple months of being like, oh, I'll skip, like not a big deal, I started going to class more. And as you get more into like your major classes, like you don't want to skip, just because there's a lot of valuable information that you will need to be knowing for tests or finals or papers or projects. So it's kind of important to get to class all the time. But as far as attendance policies, those will also be in your teacher's syllabus. So some teachers say attendance doesn't really matter, just make sure you get all your work done. Okay, not gonna lie, my freshman seminar, I probably went 3 times out of the whole semester, just to be flat out here. I didn't go. I never went, and I still did fine in the class. But teachers will kind of give you a good idea of whether you actually need to show up or not. So that class was not so much. Make sure you're familiar with your professors before you get really comfortable with skipping class. And it's totally okay if you oversleep sometimes, or like if that happens, like that's okay. It happens to everyone. Definitely has happened to me. I've definitely had times where I've like woken up and it's like 9:20 and I'm like, I literally have class at 9:30. This is awesome. And instead of just like booking it and running to class, you just don't go. And I'm just being real, and I'm not encouraging you to skip school, but like that's just how it goes for a lot of students, including myself. But the really good part is, because you are going to school for something that you care about, like you're choosing your major, the classes that you're going to go to are probably classes that you care about and you want to go to, because it's actually kind of fun to learn. So for me, like I never want to skip my fashion classes just because like I love going to them. I also really love all my classes this semester, so I don't really want to skip those either, but there were definitely classes that I had when I was doing my general education courses, just trying to knock those out. Like the core classes can be super, super boring, so sometimes that was a challenge for me to get to school. But attendance policies, just be smart. The last thing that I was definitely not expecting was that living in a dorm or an apartment is literally the best thing ever. It is so much fun to, like, it's your first time that you have your own space, that you get to do what you want to do with the place. Granted, my school's dorms are luxurious. I mean not really, but like they're super nice. So at my school, basically in my building, I was living on campus, and every single student got their own bedroom and bathroom. So it's not your classic like sharing a bathroom with your entire floor and sleeping in the same bedroom as a stranger situation. Mine was a little bit different than that, but I did love just the idea of like having my own kitchen where I could make my own food and having my own bathroom that I could decorate. Having my own bedroom was really nice because I could get a lot of work done. Nobody was trying to talk to me all the time. Like, I could really focus, and so it was kind of nice to be able to have all my own space. And it's also really fun to get to know the people that live around you, like building friendships with your hallmates and your roommates. I had asked you guys to vote on which kind of video you wanted to see, whether you wanted the 5 things I didn't expect about college or what my classes are like this semester. Vast majority of you asked to see the 5 things I didn't expect about college, but for those of you who did care about what classes I was taking this semester and that was something that you were interested in, I just wanted to throw this in here really quick, and I'm just going to tell you what classes I'm in and just a little bit about them each. So the first class is Fundamentals of Media and Entertainment. This one's really fun. I only have it once a week for an hour and 15 minutes. It's pretty cool. It's actually a hybrid class, so I do most of it, it's like, I guess it's 50-50. Yeah, it doesn't say that. Sometimes they have like different percentages like of what you do in the classroom and what you do online. So this class is really, really cool just because we talk about a lot of current events, so things that are like big in the news and like the media. So we talk about those kinds of things. So like one like recent thing that we talked about today was the Gillette commercial that has kind of struck up a lot of conversation. So we did stuff like that. I love classes where we get to focus on like current events, current news. I think that's super fascinating. So that's something that I am definitely interested in, and kind of gearing that towards social media, kind of because that's up my alley. The next class that I'm in is totally random and has nothing to do with my major, but I needed one last elective, so I took it anyways. It is a child development and early learning class, and I think it's going to be super fun. We get to like play with babies, I guess. I don't know, but it's going to be super fun because I love babies. And that one also only meets once a week for an hour and 15 minutes. That one is my 8 a.m. I've never in my life had an 8 a.m. in college until the last semester of my college career. So that's interesting, but it is a really fun class. The next one is entertainment marketing. This one is completely online. Online classes are kind of my friend. Just because with my anxiety and stuff, I do a lot better when I'm able to just kind of be at home and get my work done there. I don't do so hot in the classroom all the time, so I try to take a lot of hybrid or online classes so I don't have to go to school as much. Also, I commute now because I kind of live far away from school, so it's kind of nice that I don't have to drive out there all the time. Another online class that I'm in is social media marketing, which I'm super excited about. This one is like really, really fun. It's going to teach me a lot about like SEO, so it's going to teach me about Web 1.0, Web 1.2, or Web 1.0, Web 2.0. I can't talk. So it's just like a lot of the things that are really important for me like as a blogger to know. So I'm really excited to kind of see what that class teaches me because I've done a lot of research on social media marketing outside of school, but kind of having a professional teach me will be really awesome. And lastly, I'm in an advertising class, which is super fun as well. I had that one today and it got canceled, so like it's probably my favorite so far because it got canceled today. No, just kidding. But yeah, that one's pretty fun too. That one's not so much about social media, but it definitely brings in a lot of elements that I will need to know for what I'm wanting to do in the future, because basically in any job you want to make sure that you are able to persuade, and it kind of has a good like it teaches you a lot of ways of persuasion. Advertising kind of goes into a lot of different fields, so I feel like that's just a really safe bet for a class that I will be able to use in the future. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so disappointed. I literally filmed the entire Bachelor recap and then I got onto my computer and it uploaded the whole file as a DAT file instead of an MOV, which probably means absolutely nothing. But basically I wasn't able to, like my computer couldn't read the file. So I just have to redo this whole part, and it's like 2 days later, and this is my Saturday uniform. This is what I would normally wear on a Saturday. This is what my makeup probably will look like every time I'm just chilling on the weekends. And also I realized after I finished filming last time that my glasses were reflecting my lighting the whole time. So you guys are really in for a treat for this video. This is definitely some of my best work, I would say. I need a round of applause for that one. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I did finish the Bachelor recap before week 3 begins on Monday. So I wanted to just kind of go through and talk about my thoughts of this week of the Bachelor, and hopefully I'm going to get this video up super, super fast. So this week was kind of the first like real week of things that are going to like really be how the rest of the season's going to go. So they did group dates, they did a one-on-one, so it was just kind of interesting to see the dynamics kind of change in the house a little bit. So they started off on their very first group date, which was a little bit odd. They kind of had to talk on the stage through a story of their first time doing something. So they could basically have talked about anything. Some of the girls were like kind of cringeworthy, if you know what I mean. Like I was just like, please don't, let's not do that. So it was a little bit awkward to watch them sometimes. But Demi's was the one that really stood out to me. If you watched the episode, Demi just blew me away all of last week. Let's just go ahead and say that. She was very bold in hers and used her first time story to kiss Colton for the first time in front of all these people. Super awkward. So that date in itself was just really weird. That's basically the one thing that stood out to me. Like I was just like, okay, are you kidding me, girl? So from that like main first stunt that Demi kind of like pulled out of nowhere, she's not really making any friends in the house. It's kind of what I'm catching here. A lot of people were a little bit turned off by that. They were not a fan, which I don't think I would have been a fan either. Like that's just kind of, that's a little too forward, I feel like. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get attention. I get that, but also like you don't want to make everyone in the whole house hate you, right? But here's what really surprised me. Elise got the group date rose, which was a little bit weird, but I was really glad that someone that I wasn't expecting got it, because oftentimes it's just like whoever's just like the most, like the one that you've seen the most of that episode or whatever, it's usually just kind of obvious. But Elise got the rose, and I thought that was really cool because like she wasn't someone from the first night that I was like, oh, she's definitely like going to be one of his favorites. But I really admired that he picked someone that was a little bit different. I like that she's a little bit older, a little bit more mature, so he did pick her for the group date rose, which I thought was really sweet, and she seems like a really cool girl, so I'm kind of interested to learn more about her story and see if she is always going to be like that or what kind of her story will be. The very first one-on-one date, it was Hannah B's birthday, and Colton didn't even know that and had asked her to go on a one-on-one. It was her golden birthday, which I thought was like kind of a coincidence because, well, he said he didn't know, but I'm sure producers had a little something to do with that. But their date was not what I was expecting it to be. She was like super closed off, and even he was like, this date is not going how I had anticipated. But by the end, he has a really, I don't know, he just has this thing about him that makes people feel really comfortable, and by the end she was like able to open up, and he basically just told her like, I want you to be able to be yourself. So it was really sweet to kind of see her open up a little bit, but he did end up giving her the rose, which I was really happy about, so she is staying another week. What was the interesting part was that she also talked about how her and Kaylin, who was Miss North Carolina, don't exactly get along. I was a little surprised by that because both of them seemed pretty civil in the first episode, but then again, we didn't really see a lot of scenes of them together, but we did hear that they don't really get along very well. So I'll be interested to see if there's any catfights that happen because I'm live for the drama, so what can I say? The second group date that they did in this episode was Camp Bachelor, and Colton had them come out to do like, basically like summer camp style date. So they did like, they grilled out and they played tug of war, they did like the wheelbarrow races, and it was really fun to kind of see the girls' competitive sides come out, and they also were able to kind of just like play around without feeling like they had to act a certain way. So it's kind of fun to see their personalities shine a little bit, and then whoever ended up like winning got to go afterwards and spend more time with Colton, like the group that won. So they were separated into two groups, the red and the yellow team, and then whoever won got to spend more time with Colton. So it was kind of interesting. After the group won, they got to go back and hang out with him, and we kind of got to see more of these girls' personalities a little bit more in depth. Especially one person that I thought was kind of interesting was Heather, how she has never been kissed, and I thought it was kind of sweet that she like talked to Colton about that because he can relate with her on that level a little bit, because like she was embarrassed and kind of like nervous to talk to him about it, but obviously like he understands because he's been getting crucified for being a virgin. So but obviously he did have to send some people home, so he sent home, it was Erica, Annie, Angelique, and Alex B. I'm pretty sure Alex B was the sloth too from the first episode. If you watched it, she was wearing a sloth costume. No, that's all I have to say. So it was a pretty good episode. So the 30 women have officially been narrowed down to 19 women, and it looks like this week's gonna be pretty crazy. I don't know if he punches the camera this week or if that's later in the season, but I am here for it. I love to see all the drama, so stay tuned for next week and we will be able to talk a little bit more. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts about this week from The Bachelor, who you like, who you don't like, all the drama. Don't leave any spoilers, otherwise I'll probably cry because I hate knowing the spoilers. If you like this kind of video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the big thumbs up button, leave a comment below, share it with your friends, share it with your mom, share it all over the place, and I will see you next week for the very next video, and that's all I got for you. Bye!